Hello and welcome to Board Game Basics, episode number 22. This is part of our summer edition. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Robert.
Each episode we'll try and talk about a board game and a card game. Hosting for this episode is provided by Gameology, Australia's largest gaming warehouse. This week we have a special guest on. Yes, thank Gameology, and their name is
Mika.
How old are you, Mika?
8.
Oh, you're older than last time you were here.
Mm-hmm.
But does that mean you had a birthday?
Yeah.
Okay, so today we'll talk about...
Did we forget to give you a present?
No.
Oh, are you sure? Oh.
Yeah.
Whew.
Okay,
I know he didn't.
Oh, right.
I
No,
did.
Patrick did.
Yeah, I know he... I know he did.
Oh, right.
No, I know he didn't.
Okay, so now, today we're going to talk about Bohnanza and... What was it again? The books that we're going to read over the holidays?
Yeah.
Sort of like that you've been reading? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the books that we've been reading. So, first we're going to talk about Bohnanza. Bohnanza is rated at 7.1. It's for 2 to 7 players. Community 3 to 7. We haven't done it with 2 before.
They say best with 5.
Yes. 45-minute playing time. Age 13 plus, community 8 plus.
Mm-hmm.
Weight 1.67.
And it's ranked overall at 382, and it's in the family game ranking is 85. Now, Pat, do you want to just read a little bit of this description here for us?
Bohnanza is the first in the Bohnanza family of games and has been published in several different editors.
Languages. Editions. Sorry, I wasn't looking.
I thought editors use what languages.
Come on, it is small, but keep going.
Yes, it's hard to read from a distant away.
Yeah, we're going to do something about that later on in the year.
The cards are colourful
Depictions.
depictions of beans in various descriptive poses.
Like a stink bean. Oh, who did that?
You?
Oh, no, I don't have the stink bean.
Yes, he did.
No, I don't like to collect them.
No, you always end up with them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Patrick always ends up with the coffee beans.
He does too.
I mainly end up with any beans.
Daddy always gets the wax beans
Mainly
as well.
soy. Mainly soy.
I get soy. We both like to collect the soy.
Yeah, they're cute.
The object of the game is to make money, blah, blah, blah. Mika, did you have something there you wanted to read? You're busting to read
Yes.
from the game book.
Yeah. Each player plants beans in 2 or 3 fields and tries to sell them as
Profitably?
profitably as possible. When selling beans, a player earns more gold for more beans of the same variety. Of the goal of the game is it to earn.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. That's funny. The goal of the game is it to earn the most gold planting, harvesting, and selling beans. They didn't write that right.
The most gold planting, harvesting, and selling beans without carefully planning. Players may be forced to harvest and sell their beans before they are ready and at lower price than they hope
for. Or sometimes for no price. That sucks.
Hoped. In fact, sometimes a harvest brings no gold at all.
That's correct. Don't you hate that? You know, when you've got to draw your cards and you go,
I was looking at the side of the page that we're on BGG, and if you look, it shows like these red arrows pointing down in the top 100 games.
When they move up and down.
Yeah, that's actually pretty interesting. And then, if I look at it closely, one of them they actually go above 2,952.
Oh yeah, that's because it's a new game.
No, but the numbers go above that.
Oh
probably.
yeah, 3,000, blah blah blah.
Yeah. I actually haven't noticed that before.
Back to Bohnanza, please.
Yes.
So in the game, there's 154 bean cards. And there's 7 third bean field cards and a rule book. Do you want to... There's coffee beans, wax beans, blue beans, chili beans, stink beans, green beans, soybeans, black-eyed beans, red beans, garden beans, and coca beans.
That's a lot of beans.
Yeah, and what's your favourite one?
No, but except.
Yeah, what's your favourite, Mika?
Well, mine's probably
Hello? You got to pick
do you
one.
mean to collect?
Yeah, which one do you like? The wax beans, the soybeans, the stink beans.
Well, the soybeans are pretty cute.
Yeah, they are. They're all nice little pictures on the cards.
Yeah.
The cards are actually a pretty good quality. They handle well with all our
I like
wear
how
and
you just
tear.
have to flip it over and it becomes the coin instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you go through the game, each card, the back of the card is a coin, which is what you're trying to collect. So if you sell 4 beans and you get 1 coin, you throw 4 beans out, 4 of the cards out, but you take 1 and turn it over as a coin. So basically the basis of the game, start off shuffling all the cards
yeah.
in. You're told which cards to include or not to include
Yeah,
based
I'll
on
read
the player
that. I'll
count.
read that. So, it's actually to do with how many people. With 2 people, there's a whole different setup
Yeah.
or rule thing.
Yeah, it's good for 2 players as well. You
So
two
with
should be
the-
playing that.
With 3 players, remove the coca beans from the game. Each player starts the game with a third bean-filled card and may not buy another. The game ends when the draw deck is exhausted for the second time.
And then there's a whole...
With 4 or 5 players, remove the coffee beans from the game. With 6 or 7 players, remove the coca bean and the garden bean from the game. To start, the dealer deals 3 cards to the starting player, 4 to the next clockwise player, and 5 to the next clockwise player. He deals 6 to all the other. In step 4, the active player draws 4 cards instead of 3. A third bean field costs 2 gold coins instead of 3.
What was that in? How many players?
6 to 7, bottom one.
So basically, if we just go back to the start, so the basic part of the game is each card has a different heap of numbers on there. There's 1 number that tells you how many cards in the stack, and then 4 numbers at the bottom, depending on how many cards you collect of that type, as to how much gold you collect.
Is how many cards you've collected. Once I got that mistaken, and I think you have 5, and then you're supposed to get 12 gold, which doesn't work.
So if you're not starting the game, you're allowed to have 2 bean fields, and you want to try and buy a third bean field, which you do with gold.
Sometimes you start off with it.
Yeah, it depends on how many players. But
3 players.
So you start by dealing out cards. Each player gets 5 cards. Now, they're in an order. Are we allowed to mess that order up?
No.
Do you find it hard when the cards come out in the order of 5 to not change the order, or is that something you do okay?
It kind of feels weird to me because usually if you're playing a game, you're allowed to mess up the order.
Yeah, you want to sort them into their groups or whatever, but this one you're not allowed to. So that
But also with this one, I actually find it fine with that. You have to hold it like that, because when you pick up your hand, you think about it. You want to try and hold the top card in front of the other cards and still having them spread out.
So the one closest to you is the first card.
And then the one furthest away is the last. Because you can still trade it easy with knowing what order they're in.
When it's your turn, you've got your 5 cards in your hand. The card closest to you, you need to plant that no matter what. If you don't have space in one of your 2 or 3 fields, guess what?
You have to burn it.
You're burning it.
Selling.
But
sell
sometimes
it
you need
for
to
free.
just burn that field and get nothing for it.
No, you sell it for free.
Donate it to the homeless, maybe?
Yeah, that's probably what it would be.
That would be nice. And then after you've done that, then you've got to draw. So you draw 2 cards. They get flipped over into the middle of the table. And then you go, oh, do I want them? But whoever collects them needs to plant them immediately. So
Like coffee beans.
it might not be a card I want because it's going to mess up my field. So I say, hey, Patch, do you want my card? Or Mika, would you want the 2 of these?
And sometimes if they want it, but they don't have anything, you can actually just donate it to them for nothing.
Yeah,
I
sometimes it
actually
works
like
better
that
to donate it.
because, like, sometimes Mika's like, oh, because I don't have any of that, and then I'm like, because she doesn't have anything that I need, and if Daddy has something that he wants and I don't, that he would like that I've pulled over, and he doesn't have anything to give me, you can always donate it to both of them.
Always like the sounds. Aww, bye red bean. I don't want to get rid of the green bean. You two make out, especially you, Mika, because you like playing with, pardon me, all little toys. So these little beans are like your little friends, each one that you collect. You never want to get rid of them. I love that. It makes it a fun part of the game.
I try and just collect one type of it if you can.
Oh, and you can also trade beans as well. So
yeah, during your turn.
And then after you've done that step,
You can't,
the next action
you can't
of the
halfway
game,
through someone else's step trade one of your cards with
no, it's
someone
only,
else.
this is all during
That
your
isn't
turn.
even your turn.
You can plant traded and donated beans, which sort of is part of that last one. And then you draw new beans to the back of your hand. What's that? 3 new cards that
Not
restack your pile of...
Not in the front.
No, they've got to go in order. So you take the first one off the top, put it behind. Take the second one, put it behind. Third one, put it behind. And you just go to... Depends. Each player count does it differently. Like when you play with 3 players, you've got to get through the stack of cards twice. So through the 100, whatever amount of cards it was. What did I say? 150? Go through the 100 cards.
So
There'd be 100 left.
There would be 300 you would have to go through or something.
Yeah, but because you start collecting them, it doesn't work out to be
I
that
reckon
many.
with 5 and 6 to 7 players, it would be a pretty quick game. Because if you think about it, the 6 to 7, you got to deal out extra cards pretty much for every person that you deal one to.
Yeah, but I think you have to go through the whole deck 3 times when we've played with more players.
But wouldn't you have to go through 4 times too? Because it would be going down really quickly each time.
It quickly ramps up.
Because you draw 4 cards instead of 3.
Now, thoughts on the game, everyone? Mika?
Mika first.
Yeah, what do you think, Mika?
Well, I think it's a pretty good game.
Okay, what's your favourite part of it?
Well, it's that you can get different beans and plant them.
Yeah, so you like the look of them and making your own little fields. So it feels like you actually are farming beans, and you grow quite attached to them, don't you?
The garden bean's actually a really good one. Like, you would think it would only be on the box. You would think it would be on both sides of the bean cart, on both sides. You would think that would actually be on the back of the bean cards, just sitting there leaning on the coin. Because
I don't understand what
it
you're talking
seems
about.
like the main bean in it. Because wouldn't you think that it would be on every little card?
What are you talking about, though? The garden bean?
Yeah, wouldn't you think that would be on the back leaning against the coin or something?
Why? Because they're all in the garden?
No. Because it's sort of like the main bean in the whole thing.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean on the main picture of the...
It's on the picture of... It's on the picture of the third bean field.
Yeah.
It's on a lot of things in this game. So wouldn't you think that would actually be like... You'd think that would be leaning against the coin?
Oh, I don't know. Is that him, is it? Isn't that a different bean? Anyway.
They're 2 different beans.
Yeah.
The one on the back of it, though, on the coin, is actually a chili bean.
Okay. So, all right. And what about you, Patch? What do you like about the game?
What about you?
What about me? You just want to steal what I think.
No,
I think
I
it's a
don't.
good, fun game. I love that Mika wants to play it with us because it's easy. It's a game that you two... I know while you haven't played it together, there's nothing stopping you two just playing together. And I don't think that it's a game you'd get into an argument about or anything, because there's really no interactions happen that could cause an argument. Is there? So there's no fighting. If anything, you want to be kind to your
Would you
brother
like a
or
little
sister.
soybean? No.
So that makes it good. The box is a bit big compared to the few amount of cards that are in the box. So
You'd be able to fit,
you need the
like,
expansion.
what we do, we put if we have a big game box or an expansion box, and if we can fit the expansion into the main box, we'll do that, and then we just use the other box as games that don't really have, like Uno. We put Uno in there.
Right, yeah.
That's what we've done with our Machikoro expansion.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they get damaged.
Yeah, I just recently did that when we were going away for a little bit. I put in a couple of games together to make them travel easier. So that's easy. The game wasn't too expensive, so it's a fair price. There are lots of expansions for it that range from my first Bohnanza to what else is there? My first Bohnanza, and then there was Ladies and Gangsters or something. And anyway, there's quite a few that are worth taking a look at.
There's there's over a page full of them.
Oh, there you go. All right. Was there anything else we needed to talk about with regards to...
What do I think of it?
To bean or not to bean?
Oh, Patrick didn't say what he thought of it.
Oh, right. What do you think of it, Patrick?
I actually think it's a fun game. It doesn't actually take too long if you play it. It says it takes 45 minutes. What do you think? Would it take 45 minutes?
Yeah, it's sort of the mechanics take a little bit to get your head around.
Well, once you've learned it and you've played it heaps.
Yeah, I think a parent would need to play with the kids a couple of times.
But also, once you've played it, you might take 30 minutes to play it or something.
Yeah.
Depending on how many people there are.
Well, it depends if you're crying over just having to burn the red bean field or not. Like Mika does.
Sweet bean, here you go. Oh, sweet bean.
All right. Well, I think that's all we need to say.
What about our ratings?
Sweet bean.
Oh, our ratings. We've got it on. We've rated it at 8.
What have you rated?
What would you give it, Mika, out of 10 if you had to give it a score? While you think, Patrick, what about you?
I'm thinking you go.
No, I already said. So we've got it an 8 on the...
Do you want to rate it any lower or higher?
No, I'm saying an 8.
Mika?
Patrick?
Oh, you don't... Oh, well, you don't have to say.
I think you would actually I reckon Mika would rate this a 9 or something.
Yeah, because it is a game you play with us. You don't play a lot of games with us, do you? You play Uno...
Monopoly Deal.
I would actually give it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, you really like it, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good, fun, easy game. And it's something different. There's nice pictures to look at.
Yeah.
I reckon I would go 10.
Wow.
Because it's a different theme of game. Like, we
10?
don't...
Really? Are you going to give it a 10?
Yeah.
Do you think this is as good as Gloomhaven?
Yeah. It's good. It's really good.
Why is it as
I like
good as
that it's a
Gloomhaven,
different
then?
theme. Because, like, if you think of games, you don't really have farming food games.
Right.
The only other food game that we have is Sushi Go. But if you think about it, that Bohnanza's that different type of it.
Right, okay.
It's like a type of Sushi Go, but different.
All right, fair enough.
What
so,
do you...
there we go.
Did you
Yeah,
want to rate it at 8 still?
Yep. You haven't changed my mind any further from that. So, something else I just wanted to say, I was looking up on BGG, the family-themed games. That's something we should look into someday, Patch. If I look at the top 10 games, there's none that we have there. Although we have Pandemic on an app.
Phone.
Ticket to Ride is in the top 20.
I think I actually used to have
Sushi Go Party.
Bohnanza on my tablet.
Oh, did you?
And I thought it was Sheriff of Nottingham once, but I accidentally got a Sheriff of Nottingham timer.
And Carcassonne at 20, Sushi Go.
19 is...
Yeah. So as we go through further, we've got more of them. So that's a list we should check out sometime. Talk about what our likes and dislikes are on all them. The same as a co-op. What's our favourite co-op, maybe?
I don't think it has a co-op ranking.
Now, just because this is summer edition, nice and warm, not necessarily as hot as other summers, but it's down here in Oz, but it's still nice and warm, comfy, shorts all the time. Now, Mika, what book have you been reading over the holidays?
Well, I've been reading The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, now why did you start on reading The Wizard of Oz? And something interesting that I think people might want to hear about The Wizard of Oz. So why did you start reading it first?
Well, it's quite a good book. And I thought it might be a little interesting.
I like
and
the
also,
movie.
I'm in the show Wizard of Oz.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because there's going to be a big show here.
As a munchkin.
You're going to be a munchkin and all the little characters.
We kind of get to make it up, but we're actually, instead of munchkins, we're actually meerkats.
Do you get to make up if you say...
We get to make up our
yellow
jobs,
brick road.
and it can be silly.
Do you get to say if you say follow the yellow brick road?
Follow the yellow brick road. Now,
Or those lollipops.
so you've seen the movie. You're going to be in a little show. So you wanted to read the book. So we got the book and we've read it.
Yeah.
Now there's some really strange bits in there, aren't there, that are nothing like the movie, which often happens with books. But I think the book is more interesting than the movie by a mile. What do you think?
Well, it is pretty interesting because the movie is totally different to it, and it's way shorter. The book took a while.
Yeah,
Except
and it have a lot
books.
more things.
But the movie, if someone was reading the movie and the book at the same time, someone was watching the movie and someone was reading the book in the same house,
Yeah.
and you both started at the same time.
Yes, the movie would be done quicker.
No, but you could
Nah.
finish, depends on how fast the reader is,
Nah.
you might finish at the same time.
No, it's taken us a long time reading it together, hasn't
Yeah,
it?
it depends on how much time you get each day to read.
But what's an interesting story, like, you don't really want to spoil it, but like how the Tin Man came to be is totally a story you do not hear in the movie, is it?
Yeah, because in the movie it doesn't tell him how he became a Tin Man.
And we probably shouldn't spoil how he
Yeah.
becomes a Tin Man.
It's a very interesting story in the book.
Yes, I was a bit worried about reading it to you, actually, when we were getting to that bit. So anyway, that's something that, if you have kids, definitely read that section of The Wizard of Oz, because we found that really interesting. To the point where
maybe
we've now gone and borrowed the whole 12 stories that the author
not all
wrote
of
of The Wizard of Oz, or The Land of Oz, and The Patchwork Girl of Oz, and The Scarecrow of Oz, and The Tin Man
You
of
haven't read
Oz.
all of them yet.
We're reading The Patchwork Girl of Oz.
Yes, so...
Not all of them are in that one book that you're reading.
No,
at the
but
moment,
there's
though.
that's what we said. There's 12 books, and we're going to work our way through them, because it was probably the Harry Potter of its time back in the late 1800s.
Like what I
when it came
borrowed.
out. Yeah. Now, Patch, what's one of the books that you're trying to read this summer? You've been reading The Dragon in the Library, The Dragon Keeper books.
I think it's cool. I read one like a year ago or something. I read one at the start of 2018. That was the first book, The Dragon in the Sock Drawer.
Yeah, so why do you like them books?
I actually really like them. It's hard to tell, but I like that, like, all these different things happen, like they go to do this, but they do that like they're gonna do that, but they do this instead.
Right. And the other books, we haven't
And
started.
at the moment, I'm reading The Dragon in the Library. I've read The Dragon in the Driveway.
So when you finish those,
Yeah.
you're going to move on to the next one. Now, we heard about these in another podcast because we hadn't thought of them.
The Dragon in the
The-
Libraries.
No, the Lemony Snicket ones.
Oh,
Remember when they were talking about that in one of the podcasts we listened to? And then they said about the TV show. So we saw the first few episodes on Netflix of Lemony Snicket.
I don't think I did.
Yes, you did. I remember the family in the house.
Oh yeah.
And then the guy got on the tram, and then...
I definitely have not seen that.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
I don't remember.
How long ago was it?
Oh, like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago?
Weeks ago. 3 weeks ago.
I don't
And
remember.
I had that
remember.
crazy man living in the house, and he always dresses up in different disguises to try and get the kids to come and live with him.
No, I don't remember it.
I think I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure we did watch it.
You did, but
Yes, I agree
then
with you.
anyway, I got the books so that we can actually remember the story by reading the books. So that's what you're going to work on. And what was that other book we borrowed that you were going to... The
Wasn't it
Dragon
a
and the...
Oh, the Dragon in the Volcano.
No, not that one. The Dragon
but
and the
that one
Sword or something, or the...
No, it was the Dragon in the... the Dragon in the Volcano was actually going to get binned.
Yeah, I know. So that was lucky.
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna bin the Dragon ones solely.
And as for you, Mika, any other books that you wanted to read over the holidays?
No, they're gonna give them to a different library, not bin them.
Well, there's a penguin one, but I can't remember what
right.
it's called.
Yeah, because you really like penguins.
And also there's another one.
Penguin something.
Right. Anyway, so that's our little chat quickly about books,
Oh, I
which we
think
never
it's-
talk about.
I think it's Penguin Pandemonium.
Pandemonium.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sounds
I
good.
thought it was something.
So you need to make sure you do lots of reading before we head back to school, alright?
Alright.
Uh,
There's gonna be a lot to do in not that long.
okay, so what's the next game you want to come back and talk with us about, Mika? Oh, you wanted to talk about the Forbidden Desert game, didn't you? Remember when the cards come out and then the sun
remember that
beats
bit.
down and then you got to...
Oh, yeah.
The dirt keeps filling up over the top of you.
Sand.
Well, it's really stressing because it feels
Sand,
like
not
because it's like it's happening, and sometimes I freak out a little when I'm about to die.
Yeah, you do. So that game has a good theme for you, doesn't it? And I said when we talked about Forbidden Island how you always come and steal the parts of the game and take them off to play with them.
Yeah,
She does that
I
with
always
Forbidden
do that
Desert.
because I usually use things as toys.
Yeah, I know, all
And
little
then,
things.
and then I get all angry at me because she's sort of ruining our game.
Nah, it doesn't matter.
When we've
Yeah.
collected some of the items off the ship, Mika comes along and goes, dun 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 dun.
That doesn't ruin the game. Now, if she
Take
came
it.
and took the
La, da, da,
Gloomhaven
da,
bits
da.
off the board, now that would ruin the game.
That did.
Or she takes your Fireman in Flashpoint.
I think she actually
She
has.
has
before.
taken our fire people
Oh yeah.
in Flashpoint, haven't you? What are you laughing at?
Did he take a piece of fire or something as well?
I think so.
Oh, yeah. You just want to come and play with the toys. You think they're little Lego blocks or something.
No, I think they're dolls.
Oh, dolls.
I remember
We better
when
not
we
get Rising
I-
Sun out in front of you then.
Oh no! I remember when we lean over the little people to put the fire out.
Ah, yeah.
I think Mika would like doing that.
Yeah, she would.
She'll probably try
And
to
then
grab
I
it.
take one and then put it away and
No,
say,
you-
I've got nothing. I've got nothing.
Mika, you pretend to try and be pouring it over to make it look like it's putting the fire out, and then you grab it and walk away.
La di da, not holding
Anyway.
anything. No, I didn't take one of them. Maybe it fell on the floor.
Well-
Okay, I've got one of them. Ooh
This,
la la.
this summer edition is sending us crazy, hey?
Hosting for this episode is provided by Gameology, Australia's largest gaming warehouse.
Okay, so thank you very much, Gameology. We hope you don't mind our episode today. It's only been Bohnanza and then the kids having a bit of a chat about their games.
Books.
Mika,
And Mika
what's
stealing
our
all our pieces
email?
from
Do you
our
remember?
games.
Do you remember what our email is? Board Game Basics Podcast at...
Mika doesn't have email.
Outlook.com.
Oh, you remember.
But Mika
Twitter,
doesn't have
BGB
email.
at
Board game.
Basic
Capital B for
1.
Board Game Basic 1.
It's in the show notes. I hope you don't mind having listened to this silly episode with us, but there's definitely worth checking out the Wizard of Oz book anyway.
You guys better beware if you're taking out a gun with bits. Maybe hide them so I can't come along and.
Well, we will.
I don't think
I'll
we
get
can.
Rising Sun out and set that up next to
no.
where we're playing, and you can just take all those bits.
Oh,
They're all big monsters.
yeah.
No, but what if we set? So say Mika was sitting at the table, and then we just set Rising Sun up in front of her, and then she starts taking all the pieces as we put them down.
Okay,
guess
we need to get out of here. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that you've probably turned off by now instead of listening to this crazy talk.
Thanks for listening. So that's bye from me.
I'd probably play with
Bah.
any thing like toothbrushes because I do when we're in the camper and pencils.
Funny. Okay,
So again, thanks for listening, and that's bye from me.
and bye from me.
And bye from me.
I think I said thanks for lifting before.
Probably. You're all psycho.
Yeah.
Doing this weird, happy thing, which I shouldn't be complaining about, I suppose. Oh, dear. So we've had a good summer. Do you think anyone would still be listening now?
Maybe.
No, I don't reckon. Probably only you when you go to bed if you ever listen to this.
Yeah, I always listen to podcasts.
Oh, well. Well, you were
when I
listening
go
to The
to
Wizard
bed.
of Oz the other night.
Yeah, that's a podcast still.
And you have listened to the other one that we've listened to, the geeky teacher parent one.
Oh, I listen to that sometimes.
Yeah. Okay, are we ready? Is anyone interested in telling their
Yes.
joke? Oh, the green bean said, I just peed on the floor.
We've all been there before.
And Patrick?
What do you get if you cross an onion with a bean?
I've no idea.
Tear gas.